Hello, welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and this minute has three guys. The Star Wars movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And I'm Tony Thaxton from BizarreAlbums.com.
Thanks for coming back again, Tony.
Thank you.
Were the three guys us?
Was it? Or was it Lando and Poe and Finn?
Those guys are not the top stars.
It's true. But yes, we get this minute 90 of Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. It starts out with Poe having a talk with Leia's corpse, and it ends with Poe and Finn having to talk to each other. So, but hey, guess what? Like, Lando's back, and he was just kind of walking right into the room while somebody, Poe's having a heart-to-heart, heart-to-heart, having a like he was kind of like looking for inspiration / encouragement from the spirit of Princess General Leia, basically. Yeah, and he's kind of talking out loud to a dead body. And Lando's like, hey, you know what? And it's like a little bit rude, I think, just to walk in there and unannounced and be. I get what he's going for, and it works, but it's also a little bit
he's like, hey, I was just standing here in the shadows. What's wrong with that? What's so creepy about that?
I mean, glad to see Lando's back, and we didn't get the follow-up stuff of what he did to get here. Remember that when we last saw him in his ice cream truck, then they were like, hey, come with us. And he was like, nah, I'm done here. I'm not, my rebellion, my flying days are over. But then the Knights of Ren were desecrating the Millennium Falcon. He was like, oh, my ship. He was like, if those guys are that evil, we have to fight them. And then he had a change of heart and also was like, well, I got to go talk to Leia. And then he, I believe they say that he also just arrived too late to talk to Leia. I think that he's just getting there too, basically. It wasn't like he was there for a while.
Was he trying to get here to talk to Leia?
That was part of it. Or was he
just coming to help the resistance?
Both, I think.
Okay.
And because remember that was like, he was like, oh, send Leia my love. And Rey was like, tell her yourself. That's exactly
he interpreted that as they're not going to send Leia my love. I have to go in person if I want to give her my love.
Yeah.
These kids, they just don't get it.
We are positive on that timing, though. Like, he wasn't coming there because he had gotten word about Leia.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he was on it. He had already had a change of heart and decided to go help out or at least talk to Leia about it.
Yes. And this is the first we see him since that initial scene, you said?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this is the unveiling of him in the young Lando clothes still.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, obviously it's like, oh, that's a callback to that movie. I think it's weird, though, in universe, it's really weird that Lando would show up wearing clothes he was wearing 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did he keep, is this literally the same shirt? Did he get multiple copies of it over the years? Did he have to let it out when he was, getting older?
Everything you are asking in your head right now is what I was asking myself the first time I saw the image of him in these clothes. Because I both love it and hate it at the same time.
It's like he's showing up in like a zoot suit. They're like, why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing those old clothes from... Are you going to a costume party or something?
Or, he's seen all these people that are way younger than him. He's like, oh, they've never seen this outfit before. And
right. Maybe it's come back around. It's like hip, retro now.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Or he thinks it is anyway.
Right.
He went and bought it at the vintage store on his way.
Right. I used to have an outfit just like that. Well, in the book, in the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker expanded edition of a New York Times bestselling author Ray Carson, it says The former rebellion general had flown to Agent Kloss on his ship, the Lady Luck. So points for the Lady Luck.
That's from the Lando Calrissian Adventures.
Yeah, like that's his EU ship, I think. Almost always, as far as I. Flown to Agent Kloss on the ship, the Lady Luck, almost as soon as they'd left Pisana. Something Ray had said convinced him, and Poe was so glad he was here. Then he says his line, but then according to Connix, Lando had been overcome with grief when he arrived just a little too late. He'd missed his chance to say goodbye. So he did. He left, even though he left right after, around the same time they left, they stopped and had a Kef Bir adventure, and he got there around the same time. Or maybe there's a little bit of time in between Leia's
He's
passing
older.
and Poe arriving. So maybe, he drives slower.
Yeah.
And they're driving the Falcon, so they can go a
That's
lot
true.
faster than...
Don't knock
It's
the
the
Lady Luck.
fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy out here.
Hunk of gunk.
I'm not knocking the Lady Luck. It's no Falcon. That's all I'm saying.
I think Lando would agree on that.
You think Lando's like, great, I get the Falcon now that I'm here.
So,
Does Chewie come with it?
speaking of Chewie, I did want to get Lando's back. He says, hey, like, what you did, I'm not ready. Like, neither were we. And he says, Luke, Han, Leia, me, who's ever ready? And I really, that would be a good point to, like, just in the background, drop in a Chewbacca roar, like, Luke, Han, Leia, me, like, 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 totally forgotten about Chewbacca again. He was,
It is funny. I don't know why, but it seems funny to me that he includes himself as part of the gang.
right.
When I still don't think of him that way. You know what I mean? I guess because I feel like this has come up before, but like for younger people who grew up watching these movies straight through, okay, fine. Lando betrayed them in the next movie. He's back good again. But for people who lived through it in real time, there was like 3 years where Lando was like the bad guy. So to me, he's like, it's going to be tougher for me to forgive that initial portrayal of the gang. Even though I know he was kind of put in an awful situation. I get that, but I still don't think of him as like they had 3 years of adventures before Lando showed up and joined.
Right. And
so
I not only the 3 years between the movies, but also, I grew up with, remember the home video situation was weird with you. So, and I had the bootleg, I had Star Wars and Empire and I didn't have Jedi. So it wasn't until like 10 years after, basically almost, no, maybe not that much. 10 years after the original, the 10th anniversary one. So the first time I think that like I had Return of the Jedi. So like 87. So let's call it more like, 7 years of only having seen Return of the Jedi in the theaters once or twice and, reading the storybook, obviously, and stuff like that. But, like, Lando wasn't ensconced in the team the way that it might have been for some others and people coming around now. So I had more time to stew on it. But I've grown, I've turned on him. I've turned on him. How about that? I like him now. But he is, yes. It's kind of like... Peter
it's
Lawford.
Like if Ringo was the last surviving Beatle. He's like, yeah, sure. When I recorded Sgt. Pepper, we did a thing. Like him as the authority. He's the only surviving.
Or I was going to say like Marky
human.
Ramone. He's like Marky Ramone now because all the other the original Ramones are all dead. And he's like, yeah, remember with the Ramones when we were, and he was like, yes, he is definitely an important Ramone of record, but he's not an original and also
right. Yeah, there you go. It's a better analogy.
Yeah, that is interesting though. I never thought because I am a little bit younger than you guys, and I always did kind of. I know he's on the outside a little bit, but I did always kind of lump him in with everyone else. Like I definitely was. Where's Lando when they started making these newer movies? And I still think it's a little weird that it took till the third one.
It is definitely weird. Like, there's no reason Maz Kanata should not have been Lando Calrissian.
Yes. Or the Master Code Breaker.
There are reasons, but the Master Code Breaker.
Yeah, there were lots of opportunities to be like, well.
Yeah. For the record, if you're going to break the original gang down into Beatles, Luke is Paul, Han is George, Leia is John, and Lando is Ringo.
I think that might be dead on. I don't think I can argue that.
I'm processing it.
Okay.
I'm processing.
He's telling Poe, we had each other. That's how we got through this. We had each other. That's why we won. Our boss was a fish. Can you believe it? Empire overthrown by teddy bears and a talking fish.
Crazy.
I was all, what have we here? That's what... I want to hear Lando putting their adventures into more mundane terms like that.
Right.
Anyway, talking fish.
I remember when I met Han Solo, me and my robot girlfriend were...
I gotta get to the Falcon immediately. D-O is back.
D-O's back.
What is he doing with that toolbox?
That's literally my note. What is D-O doing? Is he a bird?
Is it just like a little kid who's just kind of like, just likes, I'm pretending to use a toolbox and just, moving tools around and stuff?
Yeah. I don't know.
Hmm.
How do you feel about D-O, Tony?
I think Dio is a little bit of a swing and a miss. I don't despise it, but it definitely.
I don't despise it. I don't hate it with every fiber of my being.
Well, I don't. Okay.
Fair enough.
But I don't know. It just felt very. Hey, everybody likes BB-8. Well, we gotta try to make a new one of those, and it just feels a little too that, and I feel like nobody really cared too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely feels like the Cousin Oliver.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not a dated reference, right?
No.
We got to update that.
Cousin
What's a more modern version? Who was someone on Friends that came in towards the end that they were trying to...
Let's go with a more modern version from 30 years ago.
Well, people still watch Friends.
I know.
No one watches.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think the Great Gazoo, right? When he came in on Friends, yeah.
Totally, yeah. That's what Kylo Ren should be like, the Great Gazoo, where he pops up as a ghost, helps them out, and then calls them dum-dum and leaves. Harvey Korman.
They don't explain why. I'm going back to the novelization again. I'm not going to full title.
Are you talking about the one by Rachel Carson?
Ray Carson, yes.
Ray Carson.
New York Times best-selling author?
That's the one. They don't really say what Dio's doing. The tiny droid that rescued from Ochi's ship toddled toward him and began poking around Rey's things. Doesn't say why, doesn't say what. But then it says he noticed Rey's half-built lightsaber and inclined his pointy nose cone towards it. And that's when Finn is like, hey, don't touch that, that's my friend's. But that is interesting because it's, if Ochi was a Sith hunter or whatever and was helping to hunt down the Jedi, right? He was kind of part of that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because isn't there a whole thing in the comics with Ochi who's helping out Darth Vader to find the... I don't know. I could be conflating some things, but it makes a little more sense if this Sith hunter's droid was like, hey, look, a lightsaber, versus just droid is just pecking at a toolbox for no reason.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't see anything that looked like a lightsaber in that pile of junk.
I saw her cool little blaster thing, her kind of retro style blaster spilled out, but I didn't see the lightsaber. I could be wrong.
So
are these tools? Where did Rey get these tools since joining the Resistance?
I think when she signed up for Apex Tech, she got to keep the tools after.
Okay, so she got it from the. Because Finn seems pretty proprietary about it. Those are specifically Rey's tools, not just general Resistance tools that's free for anyone to use. It's
why, which makes me think maybe it makes more sense if it is. Hey, these are she's building a lightsaber. Those are her lightsaber tools. Those are her Jedi tools. So, but we don't. I don't think we see it. That Tony, are you scrubbing through it right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
How dare you?
I saw that producer look on your face where I thought you were looking something up, but maybe not. I don't think we see it actually in the toolbox. So Who knows?
Yeah,
And,
I didn't even realize that. What lightsaber though? This is a completely new lightsaber?
It's
I guess the one we see her with at the end.
right.
Oh, okay.
But that one she's
She's
been
yet-
working on. There's a couple
Yeah.
of scenes, a couple of things in the book where it mentions that she's been
Okay.
like repairing Anakin's lightsaber. Helped her get like hands-on experience with lightsaber repair and construction. And so then she's applying that to her own lightsaber and talks about her like the Dark Ray's lightsaber, the one that kind of folds in two. When she has that vision in the book, it says like, oh, hey, like this evil vision of me had the lightsaber that I'd sketched out recently. Like this lightsaber concept that I had been working on, and this evil version of me has it. And so we hear that she's been kind of working on that.
Got it.
So does that make her then scrap it and come up with a new design?
Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe Dio breaks it here. She's working on that.
Oh,
and
that's
Dio's
what he
just
was-
like,
he
what's
was
this? Smack, smack, smack.
trying
And
to
like,
break it, yeah.
breaks the lightsaber that she's been working on.
What do we think is the fate of Dio? Like, does he still get to hang around with the gang? Is he like part of them, or is he just kind of like, all right, Dio, you know,
It's just dropping back off on Pisana.
yeah, like, and what are the rules about that? Can you just let a droid go and it's just like, all right, hot scramble, you know?
I don't know. I think we'll see him again.
I feel like I have a feeling we'll be seeing a little Dio again in the future. I feel like Rey is the only one really who has like affection for him, who would like take him in or whatever.
Well,
Right.
yeah, there you go. That might be the
Poe
connection
already
there.
has BB-8. He doesn't need another droid.
Yeah.
Finn's
feel like
too
once the-
obsessed with Rey.
Once any sort of character is introduced, I feel like once there's more, we're gonna see them again at some point. I feel like, unless it's Rose. And I don't mean that as an insult on her. What did you say?
I said Jar Jar, but
Oh, well,
Rose
yeah.
is an even better example. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
and that's not anti-Rose. I just feel like
Right.
they put her in this kind of, but not really. Yeah.
I would absolutely watch the Rose and Jar Jar show. Like if they
Star Wars Troll Hour starring
Yeah, exactly.
Rose and Jar Jar
Rose and Jar Jar.
and Art Carney as the junk dealer.
Yeah, there's interesting that they don't know Dio's name until now. He didn't say his name was Dio before.
He did to some people.
I don't know. Did he? Because here, Finn, who was there in the room when they
I feel like he did with Rey at least.
when they turned him
Yeah,
on.
that's what I was gonna say. Ray or even R2.
Yeah, well, I'm
Or
sure
not
he and
R2. I'm
R2
not R2. Sorry, I meant BB-8.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're
BB-8.
having all kinds of conversations.
Yeah, plotting.
Now I want to go back to see what. Yeah,
I feel like Rey is the one who said it.
that
Yes.
he said my name is Dio. I don't know if he does. Well, anyway,
You think it's like Ewok? It's one of those words that's never spoken in the movie, and yet we all know and love Dio.
I know because didn't Poe say like Dio?
Poe calls him Conehead here.
Conehead.
Cone
Just
face, I
little
think.
tip of the
Yeah.
tip of the hat to the SNL franchise.
Oh, so
Conehead's
maybe that was because he didn't know his name.
shout
Maybe
out.
All right, wow. All right. Nobody asked. I can't find it, but I'm assuming that we don't hear his name and nobody asked before. And then,
And this is the first time that
everybody correct me if I'm wrong. You're going to do that anyway. It's okay. I expect that.
I wanted to comment on the Rebel base here for a
Mhm.
second. I think it's funny and weird that they are camped out underneath the Tantive 4. I guess in some kind of giant cave or something. Is that what they're supposed to be? They're not just
Yeah.
exposed to the elements. They're in like a giant, like the Tantive 4 is parked in a cave and they're all kind of hanging out underneath it. And I think it's funny because why don't they hang out in it? Why bring all the computers out into the wet, damp cave rather than just use the computers that are on the Tantive-4, where it's nice and dry and climate controlled and so on. Anyway, I just think it's a kind of a funny, and I'm also kind of disappointed we never get to see the inside of the Tantive-4, which is the part that we all know and love, those famous white hallways. But anyway, I'm glad to see it again, at least.
Yeah.
The Tantive, I mean.
It is, yes, I keep forgetting that it's there and that it's that. So.
Yes. It's at least bookend, though, because that's the first ship we saw in Star Wars. I guess it's not the last ship we see, but it is in the last.
And it does say,
scene.
I know, as we last see it. Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's catchphrase.
Yes.
I'm really surprised we never saw the escape pods again. That seems like it would have been a good callback. The escape pods from the Tantive-4.
Yeah.
Or some mention of it. But
yeah, or
anywho.
like, there's a handful of things. There's a handful of things that they haven't gone back and dredged back from the early movies. They could easily put in there. Snow speeders.
Yeah, snow speeders never
escape
came back.
pods.
Give it time.
Yeah.
I guess those are the only two things, I think.
That's it. Everything else on the list is checked off.
Yeah, it's really hard to think of too much. Watto never came. Although I guess he came back in Attack of the Clones, so he did come back at least once.
Right.
So,
was he ever in Clone Wars? I don't remember those well enough at all.
I know his race was, I know, but I don't know if he was. They go to meet the king of the Toydarians, or is that what he is, a Toydarian?
Yeah, I believe so.
This is word toy, right, in it?
Mm-hmm. I know you hate it when we talk about the Toydarians. Well, that overall was everything that I had for this minute.
I have one last thing.
Yes, I was about to ask. Anybody else have anything else?
When Poe is talking at Leia's bedside, it's not graveside really.
No.
We all know Poe presumably is aware that there are such things as Force ghosts, and that when Luke showed up on that salt planet, which is called Crate, Poe knows that was an illusion, right? I assume he was informed that, that was Luke is actually dead, and he came in here and did all this stuff. And so when he's talking to Leia, is he kind of hoping that she's going to kind of show up as a Force ghost and say, "Okay, this is what you do, Poe. Go this kind of stuff."
That's why he's like, "Hey, I don't know how to do this, and you said I was ready, so
where are the keys to the Tantive-4?
Yeah.
Do you know where they?" That sort of thing. Anyway, he must have been disappointed when she didn't.
When Lando shows up and says, like, "Oh, okay." I mean that.
Yeah.
You think you poked Lando and see, like, "Are you real?"
Oh no, I'm not dead. It's also weird that Lando shows up almost in the same type of mood as Han Solo showing up to talk to Kylo Ren. You know what I mean? It's like, oh look, here's an original. It's 1 week. We're due for another original trilogy character to show up with a rousing speech about how he should.
I mean,
keep fighting.
Do we think that this was supposed to be a Poe and Leia moment? After, like, does he show up? Does she show up to him as a Force ghost in the original iteration of this?
I wonder. It's a weird arc for this, like almost like a mini arc where Poe's like, "I don't know what to do," and then Lando's like, "You should hang out with your friends more."
Right.
And then the next scene, he's like, "Yes, we should be friends now." It's almost like a little journey that Poe goes on in this one little scenelet.
Yeah.
That's all I have for minute number 90.
All right. Tony, anything else from this minute, or just from the movie in general? Anything you want us to look out for? Anything you said you missed?
No, not really. I didn't have anything else for this minute, and I think I've kind of said my main thoughts on this movie. Like, I don't know. People get a little bent out of shape on this movie. I understand we have some hardcore Star Wars fans. I consider myself one, but again, I want to have fun, and like, I'm not gonna let it ruin my life if I didn't like something about the movie. I'm okay with what we find out about Rey. I don't love it. I don't hate it. But it was kind of where my brain went the first time I think before I even saw The Force Awakens. So it kind of seemed like the obvious thing that was coming, but then I didn't really think they were going to go.
You thought her last name was Skywalker even before Force Awakens?
I mean, yes, didn't we all? But no, I don't know. I know I'm getting, or no, am I guess, no, this fate has been, we do know this at this point in the movie, so you guys have talked about this, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
About what?
I'm still not 100% convinced. Because, as we know, we hear it from unreliable sources who have an interest in this being the case,
right?
And people thinking that's the idea,
right?
But
all right, I guess that's minute number 90.
Yeah, yes,
there we go.
There we go.
In a nutshell.
Yep. But you just said something that made me think of something else. Now I can't. Anyway, never mind. Unimportant. I'll think of it after you're done, and then I'll be like, I should have told Tony that. All right.
Well, Alex a minute ago said Poe knows, and all I could think of was Poe knows baseball, Poe knows basketball. Poe don't know diddly. You're somebody who likes a good toy. Do you have any merchandise, any toys or anything from this movie? From this movie? Funny enough, I don't think I do from this movie, but my girlfriend does. And I feel like it's worth grabbing real quick.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Right.
Sure.
Pete, why don't you do the plugs while Tony's getting his product?
All right. Well, while Tony's getting that, let's talk about our weekend show. If you're going to miss us over the weekend, why not go to StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon and sign up over there. We do shows on Saturdays where we review things. We do shows on Sundays where we just talk about all kinds of nonsense. And you can even get a free trial of that, a 7-day free trial. Go check it out. If you like it, sign up, continue with it. If you don't, that's okay. You can bail. You can wedge that stuff. And we'll still like you. Oh, look at this now. Now Tony is holding a life-size Babu Frick.
Yeah, I think these were only available at Disneyland and probably Disney World, but
wow,
it's very well done. This Babu Frick toy, and it also
is it articulated?
He does. Wait, I can't remember how to.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Those of you not
talks.
watching the video, he moves and talks.
Yeah, and the face is like rubbery, so it looks pretty good. Except the mechanism of the neck is the loudest thing. It's louder than the actual talking. So
I'm Babu Frick.
I know how he feels.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, like everyone else, I feel like we both loved the old Babu Frick, and saw that, and she
Breakout
felt she
star.
needed to get it. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Well,
I think that's it. Sorry.
No, thanks, Tony, for introducing us to that Babu Frick. And thanks for being with us all week, giving us your opinions on stuff, hanging out. Thanks for your years of service to the show.
Thanks for keeping my streak alive.
We will, no doubt, be in touch with the future endeavors. Good luck on future endeavors. Sounds like we're firing you, but we're not. We're saying, well, when we do stuff in the future, we'll definitely...
we'll keep your application on file.
Exactly.
That's fair.
But we're not going to transmit it to the Academy this year. But everybody else, we will hope to see you and hear you on Monday for a brand new episode of Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.